Okay, it's 6:08. Sean,
We're in open session.
we're in open session.
Mr. Chair, I move that we go into closed session to prevent the disclosure of privileged information under 115C-402 and 115C-321 of the North Carolina General Statutes or Regulations and/or under 20 U.S.C. 1232G of FERPA of the Regulation or Laws of the United States, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1. Also to consult with our attorney to protect the attorney-client privilege.
You did a good job.
Sure did.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Benji, second the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're in closed session. Okay, on the agenda for our board meeting tonight, August the 18th, 2014, special called meeting, we're to discuss the vacant board seat for Christine. And really, the only question before us is, do we want to fill that position before the election or not? That's the question. And once we make that decision, then we already have a procedure in place to do that. And I think Rob has been getting applicants as even prior to this.
We have not advertised for locally yet.
Right,
For this, not for
Right.
us.
right.
But we have the letter ready to go as soon as we get the word.
So, Ms. Mildred?
Explain the process for the board to hear again, please.
Well,
To hear publicly for the first time.
basically what
what the
we've done
process
in the
would be.
past, and correct me if I'm wrong, we just advertise that there is a vacancy on the board, and we have applicants, and usually those applicants, if we don't have more than 10, we listen to all of them. If we have more than 10, we have maybe a panel that will get together that will screen some of those applicants. But if whatever number we have, up to 10, we just, as a total board, hear their presentation. And then after their presentation, we have discussion. And after that discussion, we vote to fill the position that same night.
Okay. A second part of the question, if we appoint someone to serve from now through November, would that person have the opportunity to still run as
That
well?
person has this week to decide
Okay,
whether they want to run or not.
okay.
And there again, the person that we appoint may not decide to run, or they may. And the person that we appoint may run and lose. And we're looking at a short time. I think we've got 3 more meetings.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would always be on the side of filling positions when they become vacant. But this is such a unique situation. I don't know if we ever dealt with it before or not in the state of North Carolina, that when you appoint somebody, to me, it looks like they'd only be sitting officially for 2 meetings at the most. We have board members sometimes that miss 2 meetings in a row. So from that standpoint, I don't see why we don't let the Board of Elections and the ballot box take care of this situation for us. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, normally I would not feel that way, but if it was a year election off, or even 6, 7 months off, but you're talking about November the 4th, the people would decide.
They would decide in November, and the only thing that I would say is that when people would say, well, that section does not have a voice. Well, they have 11 other people that they can contact as a voice for that particular area within this short time period. And by the time we appoint someone in there again, they may not be on the board, they may not just run, they may lose, and it would just be, I think it would create some confusion within the community, but that's my position.
I guess particularly since I'm the other District 3 representative, even though it is a short time, and what you say is absolutely true, all of us represent everyone in Pitt County. Nevertheless, when a decision has to be made by this board, each district has 2 votes. And it is the beginning of the school year, there's a lot going on, and it would concern me as a constituent of District 3 that for this period of time, my district has 1 vote instead of 2, and 1 person working in whatever capacity instead of 2, like every other district had. So for that reason, I would advocate going on and filling the seat so that District 3 has 2 representatives. And then the other thing, on a more personal level, Christine, if you look at the committees and the hearing panels that she served on, contributed more than her share of work to this board. She put in a lot of hours, and if we don't replace her, then someone else is going to have to step up and do that work because it's a big loss to us. So it would involve some restructuring and some people serving on committees and panels that they haven't been serving on previously.
Rob?
I'm going to have to go likewise. I think the procedures are there for us to do it. To short circuit that and just say, no, we're not going to, may concern some people. And my thinking is, if it's there, even though it's for a short time, I think we should go along with the procedure and try to get a member to fill the void until the time ends.
Are there any short steps to the procedure so far as, do we have to put it out there in the paper and all that kind of good stuff? Can we shorten that procedure?
That would require a 2/3 vote to change your procedures.
And we've done that in the past. I can't remember when, but I know that we have done that.
I haven't. I mean,
No, we just said, I'm sorry, the procedure doesn't say how long you would advertise.
there you go.
So we did it for 2 days, and that would be it, and we could interview and that kind of thing. So by conceivably next Wednesday, we could have a person on board.
It said, well, what you would do if you were going to go forward, and if there was going to be a motion, the first active part of the appointment of new board members procedure is the board will establish a reasonable timeline for filling the vacancy, and will publicly advertise the timeline as well as the procedures to follow in submitting an application. So you would need to do that.
In the shorter,
Timeline tonight and advertise that.
Jill?
Therefore, it seems to me, Dr. Linker said the announcement's ready to go to the media. We could advertise for this week into next week, and we have a meeting September 8th, which easily could be the interview process for the applicants that we get, and we could appoint somebody September 8th, and they could take part in that meeting. Also, even though the election is in November, that the new board member won't get sworn in until December, so there is the month of November that we'll be working without,
It is.
so it's not just until November, it's really until December, whatever that date is.
Sean?
I think everyone makes valid points, but at the end of the day, I will defer to the representative of the district. You know, right now, she is the only representative of that district, and yes, the way the Pitt County Board of Education is currently established and is set up here today in 2014 is each district has 2 votes. And I would, you know, while I respect what everyone has said about the timing and all that, it's not perfect. But if we take 1 vote, you know, as a board, with only 1 vote represented in District 3, I think that would be a disservice and kind of compromise democracy a little bit. And I don't think anyone's intention would ever be to do that. So I would be in favor of going forward as Ms. Kamenetz has suggested.
Benji?
Again, I want to reiterate I agree in principle. The only thing that, again, I say is the time is so short that the person wouldn't even hardly get to know who we were before they had to step back off. The thing that concerns me too is if we appoint somebody, would that give an unfair advantage of them if they're going to run in November with somebody else? That it don't seem like to me it would be fair. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, and it just doesn't seem to me it would be fair for the other candidates, if there are other candidates that would want to run, if we go ahead and appoint somebody to that position. It would give them a little bit more notoriety and conduits, I guess, to the election.
Barb?
Well, I asked that same question of Rob a couple of times, once last week and once this morning, and he said that's done all the time. So can I assume that is, I'm not questioning Rob, but that is true, that there are appointments made all the time when people are running? Is that?
Well, the point is that, I suppose.
Not this
from a
short
legal point of
time.
view is
It's just
whether
close.
it's a couple months before the election or 1 year before the election, the person you appoint may have some benefit in terms of publicity when it comes around the time of the election. It's hard to avoid that if you fill in a seat by appointment.
Right. But that can happen, that if we appoint and then that person runs, that can happen.
I mean, that isn't the reason, there isn't a legal reason not to.
Okay, that's what I
Basis,
wanted.
I mean, it can work both ways, honestly.
Yeah,
There's
but
no-
like Benji said, he thought the time was so short, but anyway, I guess it's everybody's opinion.
Ms. Mildred?
I always believe in representation everywhere, at all times. My question to Jill is, if we did not appoint someone, could the board give Jill 2 votes so she would be represented twice in her district? Is that possible, Attorney? I'm saying, I'm
Give
just
me
throwing
2 votes, Mildred.
We're all going to ask for that.
Already both hands.
Because I understand what she's saying, because we both, we all vote alike, we don't think alike, which is good, but my concern that Jill has representation. So we did not appoint someone, could this board vote to give her, anytime we're voting from now through November, that Jill gets her 2 votes, so she'd just be the total representative of District 3? Would that be another compromise if, because I want to make sure you have your representation. That's my concern. I
Thank you.
really want you to have that.
And I appreciate the trust that's reflected in that suggestion as well, but I would feel uncomfortable.
You would feel uncomfortable.
You would feel uncomfortable raising both
So
hands.
I just want to make sure she has
I can't raise this hand.
her district.
I'll vote for it.
But
Ms. Mildred.
the District 3 would have her 2 votes.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's another option.
Benji, you had your hand up again.
No, I was just voting twice.
You wanted to see what it feels like. Any other discussion?
I'd have to I'd have to go to physical therapy.
Mary,
tomorrow.
do you have anything? Oh, yes, I do. Do you have anything to say?
No, I agree. She needs her to be represented.
Yeah, I believe in representation, yes.
Do we need a vote?
If she feels that strongly.
If, Jill,
But my concern, Mr. Chairman, is also with, we do need to get an accurate list of who are members of subcommittees and who's the chair, who are the vice chairs of the subcommittees.
Carol's getting ready. I've already talked to her about sending something out regarding that. All
And
the list of committees, the chair and the vice chair
Okay.
of right now.
Because of
And
the
then,
fact that
based on the
Christine-
decision that we made tonight, we were going to add some people to the committees to make sure we have odd number members so that a decision can be made by that committee.
Okay.
And, it's also going to, if we decide to appoint someone, that person would be looked at as also being placed on a committee if they have a certain interest, because they should.
Absolutely.
And Jill, to your point of having 2 votes, I understand that. I understand that your district and the district that Christine represents needs to have 2 votes, just like everyone else. It is a short time period. I would have preferred that we not place someone on the board, but I understand what you're saying regarding the 2 votes, and I want those people in that district to have those 2 votes. So I'm going to vote in favor. That's just me.
We
Do I
need a
hear-
motion.
Mr.
I
Chair,
hear
just
a
one more
motion.
thing.
Yes.
The final analysis, I would lean toward if Jill feels that strongly about it and serves the district.
Yes.
But again, though, it's just a weird deal.
It is.
It is.
It's a strange situation.
It's
I mean,
time.
I just feel like
Side of this is to not do it. The fairness side of it
Is
is,
to do it.
To do it.
so you're like, okay, wait, kind of stay a minute. I'll be honest with you, I mean, if you asked me my vote an hour ago, it'd be different from, I'm on the fence right now. So,
Well, let me say this, and be sure you,
I just want, she can vote.
what we're gonna do, well, go ahead, let's go ahead. Do we have a motion?
2 votes for Jill.
Sean,
You want
make a motion one way or the other.
Yes.
Do we need to?
Wait, Mr. Chair, may I have a point of clarification? Do we
Yes.
need to,
Yeah, we need to vote on this.
Yes, we do.
but we have a policy
have the
in
policy in
place?
place. It's not
You need to
whether we,
establish-
Oh, we got to decide.
Yeah.
It says the board will establish a reasonable time period, so what the motion would be to have
Kinda expedite it.
advertising that begins
Right.
on this day, that ends
That's
on
right.
this day, interviews of candidates at the September 8th meeting, if that's what you choose to do. You'd have an issue if you had 10 or more.
We won't.
But our procedure
We
takes care
won't
of
have
it.
that many.
We won't.
So you might, but if it's more than 10, or it's 10 or more, you're going to have time in between to pick who you're going to interview.
We'll have
The
screening.
only contingency would be in there. So advertising period, date of the interviews, a contingency meeting for picking who you're going to interview if there are 10 or more applications. That's what you need for motion.
All right?
Look at timeframes then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would suggest something fairly expeditious. Something to the effect that advertise immediately and close the nominations even by 5 p.m. Friday, because 5 p.m. Friday is the same deadline for candidates who want to file for District 3. So I would imagine people who are already interested are taking note and filing, or at least they're in that consideration process, and that would be that deadline that just came out. So this would coincide with that and begin a review process, and we could do the interviews at our
Next board meeting.
September 8th with the intent of appointing on that evening.
And if we find out that we have more than 10, we'll just appoint a committee. I don't know if there's a standing committee or not for that.
It says the board shall meet to review all applications.
We changed it.
We did change it. So we'll have to have another meeting
If we
to,
have more than
If we have
more than
depending
10.
upon the number.
We could have a call.
and we can have a
Have to
call
do that.
meetings prior to the September 8th.
That's true.
Correct.
All right, so our time frame, the time frame that you said is,
What I would suggest, well, Mr. Chair, I move then that we, let's see, I just put this in the form of motion, that we would advertise immediately, cease the advertisement Wednesday with a deadline, or even Thursday, with a deadline of Friday at 5 p.m. for
22nd.
interested applicants, as that coincides with what the Board of Elections is doing at this time, and to begin a review process between now and September 8th, with interviews to be conducted on September 8th, pending if there are 10 or less applicants. If there are 10 or more,
fewer
fewer
than
than
10.
10. So if there are 10 or more, then I would add into my motion We have a called session.
All right. Second,
Second.
Barbara second. Any other discussion? Yes.
Discussion. You talking 3 days, are you talking this week? Wednesday
Yeah,
this
the
Yes,
19th.
week.
The
Fast
19th,
track.
so you saying,
They're going to begin advertising tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
and just three,
Wednesday,
just for 3
Thursday, and
days?
Friday.
Some people have already filed for it.
They've already filed.
Yeah, some people have
Yeah,
already filed for it.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday
This week? Okay.
of this week, and it
Following
coincides
the
with the Board of Elections.
Okay.
And that causes us to be able to speed the process up. Billy?
You know, I sit here and listen to everybody, and I feel like you do to a certain point, Jim. A certain point is Greenville Chamber of Commerce wanted this board reduced. Henry Hinton wanted this board reduced. Lewis Payton wanted this board reduced. And here we are 2 months, or maybe 3 months, that you got to have a person here. I think the newspaper and Henry Hinton and all are gonna have a ball game tomorrow with this board, and you know, they're always calling us idiots and everything else. And here we are, gonna replace somebody, and the election is coming to reduce this board to 9 members. 3 months, 4 months at the most. How are we gonna look tomorrow?
Ms. Mildred?
I'd just like to respond to Billy. I could care less what Henry Hinton or any other right-winger or GOP or whoever feels. We are the Board of Education for Pitt County Schools. We have the right to make a decision. They are not controlling that at this moment. We have the power to do that as 12-member board. So let's go for it and don't worry about them. They've done enough damage
Amen.
that we cannot change at this moment. But our time will come. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? If not, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
1. And Jennifer. Anyone else? Okay,
I move we adjourn.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? See you later.
Amen.